viewer Q&A, as we usually do each Monday. So just anyone who wants to chime in, go right on ahead. Benjamin Gregory says, do you think it'll be smart for Snyder to hire Briles to coach RG3? Maybe more of a Ben question.
I don't know that anyone else is talking about Art Briles as an NFL head coach other than the Redskins because they have his quarterback. He obviously knows how to, bringing in a college coach makes a tremendous amount of sense for Washington because that's the system they want him to run. You've seen it work with the Eagles. It makes sense with RG3. I think he'll be healthy. I think he'll be good next year. I would love, as a fan of the team, theoretically, as a former fan of the team, I like Kevin Sumlin more.
Even though he just signed an extension with Texas A&M, doesn't mean anything.
Pay a guy $9 million a year, he'll leave. And also, it's the NFL. Texas A&M's got to understand that. You can't keep your coach if the NFL comes calling and somebody offers you $7, $8 million a year. It's the way it goes. But he's coached Manziel so successfully. And he's coveted, whereas Art Briles feels like they sort of found a system that works with the kind of players that Baylor recruits, and they don't even recruit usually A-plus level guys.
No, they still had a great year this year.
They had an amazing year, and they scored an amazing number of points. It's a joke how many points they score. But that said, that feels gimmicky. I'm making this distinction based on probably nothing. But I think there are a lot. Obviously, what I want is that Snyder's willingness to hire somebody strong and tough who can tell him to fuck off.
That won't happen. Secondly,
well, he did. If Shanahan at least had that ability, I just don't think Shanahan was the right guy.
The entire time Ben and I were having that conversation, here's what Cenk and Heather were doing.
I was just trying to stay focused on what Ben was saying.
He rants at times.
By the way, it's not. I haven't bragged enough, which is a sentence I don't often say. No one often says enough about how much Shanahan sucks. Like, I never liked Shanahan. I always thought he was full of shit and like, oh, I'm a genius.
Is he a loser?
Yeah, 3-13. How's that genius coming along for you?
24-40 for Shanahan in 4 years. Same winning percentage as Jim Zorn. Same winning percentage as Steve Spurrier.
Did you hear his exit interview, though, this morning, Shanahan's?
I did not.
He didn't take any questions, and really he answered the one question that's been sort of the through line, I guess, throughout all of this. Is are you leaving a better team than you got, essentially? And so he went on about pretty much that salary cap blow that they got.
It's huge. It was huge.
Was the huge when they were going to go after some defensive players and they could no longer do that, and he kind of alluded to that being the
Albert Hainsworth. Maybe Albert Hainsworth will take the hometown pay cut. Andrew Luck. Oh, cool. Says, who has the toughest road to the Super Bowl? Colts, Saints, Chargers, Bengals, who can't win on the road?
Saints. They got to beat a great team or a really good team in Philly. They got to beat a great team in Seattle. They're on the road all the way, and then if they make it that far, good luck. Then they got to go to San Francisco or Green Bay. That's an impossible road, right?
Yeah,
they're a really good team.
Yeah.
So I think they have a better chance than maybe the Colts do, but that's the toughest road by far.
I agree because it's in the NFC.
Total side note, that road thing, there was a tweet last night. I think
that
road thing. Peter Burns, I think a Bronco guy, said the road to the Super Bowl goes through both states that legalized weed. I thought that was pretty funny.
Good for him.
Maybe it tells you something. Think about it.
Rob wanted us to talk about Jim Schwartz and the Lions. Guess what? He's fired. All right,
easiest decision of any of the coaching changes that needed to be made.
He tweeted that 2 hours ago, so obviously Jim Schwartz was not fired yet. David Schneider says, question, who should be MVP of the NFL and who should be the coach of the year of the NFL? I think we already covered this. Peyton Manning is obvious. Coach of the year, I say Bruce Arians, but very quickly.
Have you given up the Cam Newton ghost?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, that's a good point. We talked earlier about how many great coaches there were this year. Mike McCoy.
Ron Rivera.
But Ron Rivera we didn't mention.
I knew we left out Ron Rivera.
Yeah, and Ron Rivera after he lost to the Bills made like a life-changing decision.
Going forward on fourth down.
Yeah, and he said, "I'm playing too safe."
He brought you in as a coach, didn't he?
Yeah, and he became Riverboat Ron, which was the most dramatic turnaround for a coach and a team I might have ever seen mid-season in my life. So he should get some nods there.
And he didn't just decide to go for it. He decided to go for it with his quarterback too. And as we saw again and again, we talked about it last week. If you need 6 inches, you don't hand the ball off. Unless your quarterback is tiny, you have him fall forward. He'll get it 98% of the time. If you need less than the length of a football, and they do it with Cam Newton every single time, and it works. For me, the coach of the year, because we think of coaches of the year wrong in every sport. It's always what team went 32-50 in the NBA and then won 49 games and made the playoffs and surprised us most. I think the coach of the year is the best coach in the league who did his best job this year. I would give it to Bill Belichick, and I don't think it's close. I think he's the best coach, and I think he was dealt a terrible hand, and they dealt with it and persevered and survived and went 12-4.
Absolutely.
God, that's the toughest question there is. Andy Reid was great. Chip Kelly was great. All these guys were great.
Chip Kelly was great.
And you know how much I love Mike McCoy now, but I think I'm going to vote Bruce Arians. My gut says Bruce Arians took a team that actually is not good. And, and made them into a 10-6 team.
You're wrong. You're wrong. It's not that they're not good. It's that they showed flashes of potential last year. He just put it all together.
Yeah,
their offense is good.
There.
Their offense is very good. And drafting Michael Floyd out of Notre Dame was a great pick because he's.
I guarantee you, with a bad coach, that offense looks miserable.
No,
miserable.
I agree with you. But they showed flashes of potential last year. And out of anything, he put it together, so I like that. Matt Lee Puma, by the way, says, besides the Seahawks, who has the best shot at winning the Super Bowl?
Well, I mean, Denver, because of the playing at home, and I don't think there is, I'm not as certain as Cenk is. And I mean, I want Denver to win just so he'll have to give Heather the belt. Right, totally, and beat him with the belt because we all want to see that.
All of a sudden, I'm excited by that.
But I mean, I don't disagree with Cenk. I mean, except. Just because we've seen the Packers win 3 road games and do it, and the Ravens get super lucky in one game and then win 3 road games and go to the Super Bowl and win it, it's still incredibly hard to do it on the road. And I think home field advantage is incredibly crucial, particularly in the NFC. But I think that the Niners are a team that can obviously win the Super Bowl, but winning that game in Seattle is very tough. And I don't think the Packers. I don't think it's going to happen for them this year. I think it's exciting that they're in and they'll be fun to watch and they can beat anybody, but I don't see them winning at home and then winning 2 more road games.
I think it's Niners are second most likely. I think, and I think, look, like I said, my gut says Seattle's going to lose at some point, but that's bullshit. They're the most likely to win the Super Bowl. Then the Niners. And then I think it's the Eagles, actually. I'd put the Eagles third.
Really?
Yeah.
The Eagles.
So you think the AFC has literally no chance?
No chance.
2 NFC teams playing
Even
together.
the Patriots, no chance.
Oh, you're right. That's if it's the Patriots, and they're playing the Eagles, of course they got a chance. Right. Yeah. So I'd put the Patriots fourth.
You put the Patriots after the Eagles?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, interesting.
I just don't believe in the AFC.
Clearly not. It's like the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference in the NBA. The East is absolutely terrible. The West is stacked.